Hi,
Hello.
I'm Brad,
And I'm Kelsey.
and we're BK Book Club.
Whoop whoop.
Tonight we have foregone our normal wine intake and chose to go of a cannabis nature, so we're both a little comfortable.
It's my favorite.
And I see why. I've definitely slowly drifted away from drinking and done more taking an edible when I'm going to do things, and it's been I don't know how smoking pot works for you, but for me, whenever I would just take a hit or something like that, it only lasts 20 minutes ish. Like the span of the high would be a relatively shorter thing. If I take an edible, I feel it within 100% feel it within 45 minutes. It starts to edge its way in after 15. But then I feel like I'm high for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's a longer high, and it's not so in your face like taking a hit is.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I feel like whenever I would take a hit, I'd be like right now I'm at probably a nice, warm, comfortable cruise altitude of 7 for high. But if I take a hit from a joint, I am at 110 as soon as I take the hit. So it's too much for me.
Have you ever tried a bowl, just a pipe?
Yeah.
Okay, because that you could
that I've enjoyed.
do.
Yeah, I've actually done that and enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just decided I'm not driving, and she's gonna be here long enough. Tonight's a good night for it. And we also just got back from Halloween party weekend anyway, so taking a liver break is not that bad of an idea.
No.
What did you do last week?
I worked. I had to get a new phone.
Her new life is just work. It's literally that's all she's doing. If you ask her what she's doing, I was working.
Yeah.
You're also dog sitting right now still too.
Well, I was dog sitting and then I wasn't, and then I pick up my sister's dogs tonight.
Nice.
Yes. We got one night and Bailey's gonna be like, but yeah, I dropped my phone into an abyss at work, so I had to get a new one. So I don't have a lot of notes, but
it's fine. We're gonna
change things
as
up.
normal. We're gonna change things up. When I was trying to gather questions and recaps of the previous episodes or previous chapters that we read, it was trying to give me spoilers and so we read from chapter 36 through 57. And it was telling me around chapter 40 about the battle that's already about to happen. We're in the middle right now where the battle's currently going on. And Feyre sent more down to help in the battle so she could go trap the Suriel. Which is where we're left off right now. So if you haven't read that yet, spoiler alert. But when I was doing ChatGPT, and then I even tried the Meta one. Meta has an AI, so I figured I would try that too. They were trying to give me spoilers about everything that's going to happen after this, and but they were giving it to me starting in chapter 40.
Oh.
And I'm like, you missed
a lot.
An entire book. But yeah, so what I did instead is that I have gone through each chapter earlier today, and I just scanned the chapter real quick to see if I can pick up exactly, because also I just recently read it, so my memory is pretty good. And just made little snippets. And then I also put my notes on top of that. And Kelsey will be doing that starting next week. And we will hopefully the structure of the show has stayed relatively the same. It's just a matter of how do we get there that's kind of shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, my week worked, did nothing, which was very, very nice. Did my normal week things going to hang out with my friends.
We also had Halloween.
I was just about to say that too. And then this past Saturday, Kelsey and I actually hung out right after she got off work. And we did a little Halloween party. We got costumes and everything. It was fun. Mm-hmm. Kelsey had a homemade costume because I made the cape for her.
Yeah.
And then I was wearing a cape that I made that I had just finished that day too.
Yeah.
And then, it was fun. We got to hang out with people we don't always get to see. Some people that we always see, which is not bad because it's just us enjoying each other's company anyway. And then, yeah, we went out to a bar where I left. $25 cover. And I said, no, thank you. So,
I said, okay. And I had the time of my life.
yeah, she was there much later than I was.
Dancing the night away.
Put this on the other side of you. You need to move closer to me.
It's always trying to get me to be.
Oh, yeah. Just touching
him.
touching me, touching you. But yeah, and then Sunday, I don't know what you did Sunday, but I just spent the day like getting ready for the week, cleaned and did all that
I
stuff.
worked a double.
I remember thinking that too, because before we left, you were drunk because you killed an entire bottle of wine by yourself and you had barely eaten. So I was just like, ooh, when are you going home? Ooh.
Much later.
Not by much. You were texting me like 1:45. I got home at 1. You guys were not there for very, very long.
Yeah.
Because when we left, I didn't check the time, but I was like, oh, I got to remember to text everyone when I got home. But as I'm driving, Brandon wanted Taco Bell.
I love it.
So we ended up going to Taco Bell, and that's when I looked at the time. I was like, oh, we're going to be home by 1. And then I texted everyone when we got home, but you and Colin texted me and said you guys were leaving like relatively the same time. It was only like 45 minutes after I had texted you.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, at least you're getting home before 3.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Just for reference, the last time that I went to a party that she invited me to where I didn't know everybody, I was there until 3 a.m.
Yeah, my family goes hard.
Yeah. But with that, since we're floating high on a nice cruising altitude of, I'm at a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good vibe.
It's a good vibe.
We're going to get into it. In chapter 36, this chapter, Feyre and Moore join the fight to protect the Summer Court. In the beginning of the chapter, they find Hybern troops attacking females. They are vicious, but leave the more involved ones disabled enough to still be alive, but unable to fight. They leave weapons for the females to kill the remaining troops for what they did. They clear the palace, and the chapter ends with Feyre reaching down the bond to find Rhys, who is confronted by the King of Hybern on one of the Hybern ships. My note for that chapter, because it was, yeah, you should have up to like towards the middle, but my note for this chapter was that I loved that the girls stood up for girls and like seeking their own and Feyre and Moore had the wherewithal to be like, ooh, they're going to want to seek their own revenge. Let's leave these weapons so that they can do that. I loved that. It was very Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. No, it was absolutely wonderful. Just like, here you go. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I like that they even explicitly were like, I think Feyre was making a comment on how the battle was different than when Valeris got attacked. And they were depicting how they made it to a specific room, like an entertainment hall or something like that. And that's where all the women were, and they were being abused and butchered. And just the guards standing by, they made quick deaths, but the other guys, the ones that were more involved, they took their time and then made sure that the women could finish them off. That was crazy. What do you have for notes for that chapter?
I just have it. Damn, Feyre really has like come into her power because she just came in and was like, bye-bye.
I imagine it like dancing. Like they make a comment about that, how that's how Cassian fights, is everything's a symphony for him. But I think for when Moore and Feyre were together and they were doing it, it was more of a like co-partnership, like a dance, like a waltz of a sorts.
Yeah, yep.
And they make a comment about that with Cassian later on. But yeah,
No, I especially like the darkness. I can just see them like
winnowing around basically, and just like
it's like a light they can see, but not anyone else.
Yeah, because doesn't Feyre even change her eyes so that she can see in the dark? Yeah, I liked that chapter. I mean, I feel like a lot of these chapters in this episode were actually like super, super short chapters. Because the number of pages that we've been reading are about the same, but I feel like we're like 12 chapters now is what we basically finished this time around. No, 20 something, because we were 36 to 57.
Okay.
So 20 chapters.
Yeah.
Wow, did you? So had a conversation earlier about things I wouldn't enjoy doing while high, and math is one of them. So that was a lot. In chapter 37, we learn a little more about what's going on with the king. Reese and the king go back and forth, taunting each other until we discover that the king is only there as an illusion and not actually in the battle, which was really, really fucking annoying. And the only note that I had for this one is I just wanted to make an honorable mention about the fact that Rasan finally like shows more of his power and literally mists an entire ship.
Yeah.
He's like, he gave them the grace to at least lift their swords.
My heart.
Yeah.
I have the king is such a little bitch.
Such a little bitch.
He's just like, I'm not you.
I know. And the whole, like, I'm curious as to they don't explain it yet. And I'm wondering if there's going to be a side to this battle that we'll hear about later. But, like, they don't talk about why the king even did that. Like, what was he taunting them for? Like, in what capacity? Like, was he just doing it to taunt them, or was he doing it to distract them from something else going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I was trying to figure out the nuances of that because they don't really say it at any point.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts? 36? 37. Nope, sorry, 38.
Nope. I was like, wait.
It's a lie. That was a lie. 38. Chapter 38 starts with the end of the attack on the spring court. It's not the spring court, it's the summer court.
Yeah.
I accidentally wrote it wrong.
It's okay.
But the effects of the battle start to settle on Feyre, and she comes to terms with what she had to do in order to clear the palace. Both Feyre and Rasan confront Tarquin, the first since they received their blood rubies. The chapter ends with Tarquin's dismissal and Rhys pleading for him to join the alliance in the Night Court. Join the alliance that the Night Court is trying to foster. My note for this, I said, understandably, Tarquin is distrusting of Rhys and Feyre, but he doesn't immediately ask for their heads, which is good. And I also am loving the little love affair between Amren and Varian.
With him? Oh, yeah.
Is it his cousin? I'm pretty sure it's his cousin.
Yeah, the prince.
Yeah, the prince.
I do love that as well.
He's just like,
he's like,
he's like, where is she? Where is she? Oh, she's not here. Damn.
I get they stole from Tarquin, but like also they just did save your ass.
Yeah, which is obviously the reason why he didn't ask for their heads immediately. But
like, obviously. And then I love that they're now telling everyone she's a high lady.
It's like when you become a doctor, all you ever say is doctor.
Yeah.
This is doctor. In chapter 39, to start this chapter, opens with Feyre and Rasan returning to the Illyrian camp to attend to their war party. And they discuss their plans for the meeting of the High Lords, which the date has been moved up because of the attack on the Summer Court. In this conversation, Feyre and Rasan agree to be their authentic selves, no longer masked as High Lord and Lady of the Court of Nightmares, but the protectors and sovereigns over the entire Night Court, including Valeris, which is no longer a secret. Throughout this chapter, they are weighing their odds of surviving the oncoming war without the alliance, or without the assistance of some, if not all, the High Lords of the other courts. After the battle, our team makes their way back to Valeris, where we sense more of the bond between Cassian and Nesta, as well as Amren and Varian. Once the team is dispatched to begin the final preparations for the meeting of the High Lords, Feyre asks Rhys to bring her to the prison. And my note for that chapter was about Mor getting overprotective of Cassian to Nesta is interesting. How do we feel about this? Because I have some thoughts.
Sorry, what? I was reading mine.
I said it's interesting that Mor was getting super like hyper protective of Cassian when Nesta was getting involved, and I was like, "How do you feel about what do you feel about this?" Because I feel some kind of way about this.
I kind of do too.
I'm like, girl, you can't like cock block him for life.
Yeah. And
not only that, but like you already know who loves you, and you love him too. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. No, I feel like somewhere in here I was like, you can't have everyone.
No.
Like.
Well, that's because something happens in the later chapters where we're just like, hypocrite. Straight up.
Ugh. This is 39?
Correct.
Okay, I have, I'm glad Feyre decided they needed to be themselves. No one is going to help for like the meeting to go as in themselves when they think you're like a terrible person.
Yeah, no one's going to trust you.
And then I love that Rhys was just like, yeah.
Let's do it. But let's keep your powers Protected.
Yeah.
That worked well.
Oh, I said I still think Draken's army
Mm-hmm.
and maybe Miriam and Draken were taken by the brother on the continent.
The sorcerer, the high sorcerer.
Yeah. Or like some of his army at least.
Yeah, you were talking about that in the last chapter.
Yeah. And then I have... Oh, do you have a comment about that?
No, I mean, when I was rereading like a snippet of it and editing the video from last week's episode, I was like, it doesn't not make sense. Right? I'm not saying that it's all of them, but perhaps some of them got captured and are trapped by him. But it still begs the question, where are they? Where are Miriam and whatever his name is, Damascus?
Yeah. Yes. And then I have, Nesta so loves Cassian, and Mora's protective. She's like, excuse me, they're actually both mine, and you can't have any.
Right? She's like, please, sir, can I have some more? It's a little annoying. Like, Mora seems like she's such a good person most of the time. And I get the hyperfixation on being, like, protective of your friends, but don't be possessive.
Right.
Chapter 40. When Feyre and Rhys make it to the prison, they confront the bone carver to try and find another way a way around the requirements needed to have him join the fight. Feyre shows Rhys how the carver appears to her as their own son. Elaine is starting to come out of her shell more. She's even participating in baking with the staff. Nesta asks Feyre why she ran to battle for people who want her dead and learns more of Feyre's selflessness. I didn't have any notes for this one just because it was such a short chapter.
Oh, I have 3 notes.
For chapter 40?
Yeah.
Okay, what are your notes?
I said, see, the carver knows shit, and I feel like he knows Feyre can look into the mirror. Because he was like, are you afraid to look into the mirror?
That does make sense.
And then I said, crazy to know what your future child would look like.
Yeah.
Even though Nesta is annoying me, I can't wait for her and Cassian's story because I do love Cassian.
Yeah, this was one of those, I was like, yep, that's a pretty short and sweet chapter. I'm like, it makes sense to me. I don't know what else. I didn't have any. To be fair, I also didn't take any notes while actually reading it. I only took them when I was writing the synopsises.
Oh.
So, yeah. 41. The meeting place for the meeting has been set for the Dawn Court. Nesta decides to join the meeting to tell what happened to her and to help in whatever way she can outside of her powers. In that chapter, they're basically getting ready to go to the Dawn Court, and that's when Nesta comes out of her room and says, I'm going with you.
Yeah.
There was the only note that I have on this is kind of obscure because it's not in the synopsis, but it happens during the chapter. She spends Sarah J. Maas spends 4 or 5 pages describing the treasure trove and the crowns. Specifically, a page of it is just about the crowns, and I wonder if there's some significance of that and how that's going to come back. Oh boy.
It's just so funny that that's where you went for the crowns.
Are you saying I'm like a stereotype or something?
No, because this is where I went. I want a man to let me pick a beautiful crown.
So what you're saying is that I'm more cynical and you're more optimistic in this case?
I don't know. I just think it would be pretty.
She's like, oh my God, something pretty. I can wear that?
Do you mean planning a whole outfit around a crown?
You should have gone to the coast with us because the winner of the drag thing got a crown. Like an actual, like a crown. They're so pretty. But I do. They spent a lot of time talking about the crowns and the one that she picked out and all that stuff. And there is a part of me that's like, I wonder if that has any significance. If there's a reason or if it's just solely around the fact that she got to pick her own crown. Any hoozles.
Do the other wives wear crowns?
Well,
I can't remember.
No, because none of them are high ladies. And it's only the royalty that wears them.
The prince and princess don't?
I don't believe so. In chapter 42, Nesta is offered the job of emissary to the human world since Feyre is now...
I had another 41.
Okay.
I just said, okay, and Nesta's being nice and volunteering to go. So, Nesta, you get a point.
We should actually do that. We should.
How many times Kelsey says something
We should
negative?
no. We should just give points to everyone and just.
Ooh, okay. I love that.
Like we can write out a character list and then rank them and be like, how much do we like them and how much do we not like them?
Yeah, and we can just tick in an annoying or tick in like good.
Are you good for me to read 42 now?
Oh, yes.
Nesta is offered the job of emissary to the human world since Feyre is now High Lady. The group makes their way to the Dawn Court and we meet the High Lords of the other courts. Rhys keeps his wings visible, something the other lords didn't expect. My note for this was related to their bond. I said, I love that Rhys feeds information to Feyre like an assistant, like Anne Hathaway to Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada.
I was totally reading this one.
Stop reading my screen. You worry about your screen.
Well, sometimes I like to read along while you talk. Wait, what was your note for 42?
I just told it to you.
I know, but I told you I was reading the wrong one along, and I got confused.
I said, I love that Rhys feeds information to Feyre like an assistant, like Anne Hathaway to Meryl Streep in Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that is a really good, like... I
think I want to do these while we're high more than... Continue. What do you have for notes?
42. Okay. I do love how Rhys really... Oh, fuck. Well, I did a typo, and now I don't know what it is. Oh, okay. In regards to Nesta being like the emissary.
Yeah.
When she's like, I want to go, he's just like, all right.
I'll put you on the payroll.
Here it is. And then I just said, the tension with Cassian and Nesta. And I love that Rhys was like, you bow to no one.
Yeah, that was the last, I think that was the last line in that chapter. In chapter 43, Rhys explains the differences in the courts to Feyre through the bond. As we await the arrival of the remaining High Lords, Mor is reunited with a long-lost friend, Vivienne. I know it's not Vivian because that's not how you spell it.
I've been saying Vivian.
I mean, we can say Vivian, but I've never seen Vivian spelt that way. Anyway, so Vivian, who is left to protect the Winter Court during Amarantha's reign. Introductions continue as we finally talk to each of the present lords. As the remaining lords start to show up, tension starts to rise, and in true dramatic fashion, Tamlin is the last to arrive. My notes were, we got our first openly gay High Lord, which I was very fun about.
Yes.
I said, Hellion can get it, especially with a cocky, overconfident personality. And then I put, fuck Tamlin.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I said, I feel like it'd be kind of hard for me not to bow because they're still like these like ancient beings.
They're just High Lords. I mean,
like,
none of her.
Ugh.
She doesn't bow to her husband. Her husband's probably the oldest one there.
I mean, she probably does.
Oh, well, she doesn't bow. That's not bowing.
And then I said, a friend of Mor. I love it.
Yeah, that was fun.
So because her friend and her High Lord, like the mating bond clicked in when they were having sex.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, so Azriel and Mor just have to have sex.
That's probably all it takes.
Like, you just have to feel it out because you never know.
Sometimes when they say it has to slide in place, they mean it has to slide in place.
And then I said, go Eris for being like a halfway decent person. Halfway. And then I said, fucking tampon.
Eris is only good halfway for like 5 minutes,
For
and
like
then it all
5 seconds.
goes downhill.
Remember, this is
Yeah.
where we were at.
So, chapter 44, the entire group from the Night Court is on edge when Tamlin arrives. Tamlin goads both Feyre and Rhysand in a similar fashion that Rhysand had done when they were under the mountain to Tamlin. Tamlin tries to discredit both Rhys and Feyre, Rhys and Feyre's intentions. Rhys and Feyre have to answer for previous actions between what Amarantha did while commanding Rhys and Feyre when she destroyed the Spring Court and got a mortal woman killed. The family swears, Tamlin swears he is against Hybern, but starts to go on his lover's spat again, just in time for Rhys to remind everyone who the fuck he is. Mm-hmm. He removes Tamlin's ability to speak. So the note that I have on this one is kind of long, so I'll let you do your notes first.
Okay. I said, Tampon is so fucking annoying.
Tampon.
Feyre is better than me because I'd be airing all of the laundry. I'd be like, just so you know, this is what actually happened. Just for your information.
Let's
FYI.
get both sides of the story out. Here you go.
Tamlin is a sociopath. Oops.
Say it one more time. You say it over here and you can't hear anything. So, like, the microphone's supposed to pick up your voice.
So sorry. It's so bad because I talk with my hands. Tampon is a sociopath. Oh, and then, yes, show that power.
I wonder. So my note is kind of actually more of a question that I would like to talk about, and it's my note says, I wonder why Rhysand didn't offer to show everyone what happened through his memories, or if he just thought that they would believe it, or if they would think that I wonder if he just thought that they wouldn't believe it, or if they think that he was trying to trick or trap them in some way. It seems like beyond being their authentic selves, more is needed. What other proof could the High Lords need to know that the Night Court just has Prythian's safety and the human survival at heart? Like, that was something I was thinking about. I'm like, why can't, like, besides physically showing them the memories and, like, opening them up to, like, potentially getting brain hacked or some shit, what other proof do you think the High Lords would need to, like, believe both Feyre and Rhysand when they say, like, not only beyond the sacrifices that they made and their intentions while doing so, but also, like, that they have everyone's best interest at heart and that they're trying to prevent an annihilation?
I don't think the Lords would let them in their minds.
Yeah. So what else do you think that they could do? There's not much, right? Not unless they continuously kill themselves in front of them. Like,
yeah.
But that kind of does come up a little bit later on when Rhysand's like, he basically nominates his entire court to be guinea pigs to something, but which we're about to get to. But it's I don't know. It's weird to think, like, I hate those kind of situations where it's almost like hopeless. Like, there's no way to change your mind. There's absolutely nothing I can do that will do that.
Yeah.
You know
I just have to, like, show you.
Yeah. Did you have anything else for chapter 44?
No.
Okay. In chapter 45, Beren starts to show his disdain for all the other courts, inquiring about where Lucian is. Eris crosses Azriel once more to his disadvantage. It's not until Feyre steps in does Azriel back down. We learn about the stockpile of Feybane that the king has and where they intend to be implemented. We learn that Thesian has already created a safeguard against the Feybane, to most of the High Lord's disbelief. Rhysand offers up his court as test subjects on the antidote's effectiveness. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Let it out. Okay. going to start from where it says Thesian.
Okay.
Thesian has already created a safeguard against the Faebane, to most of the High Lord's disbelief. Rysand's offered up his court as test subjects on the antidote's effectiveness. We learn more of the Southern Court's attempts at saving as many of the Fae as possible, but that Beiron has zero desire to protect the humans below the wall. Beiron persists in pushing everyone's patience to the point that Feyre loses control. My note for this chapter was, look at Nesta sticking up for Cassian. Because Beiron makes a snarky remark about how I'm not going to take orders from a bastard like you or something like that. Yeah. And Nesta's like, that bastard may be the only thing between your people and hybrid forces. And I was like, get it.
She's like, bitch.
Right.
For that, I'm glad that Tarquin finally came around in the rubies.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, seriously, if Moore doesn't at least give it a shot after all, Azriel just did. She's crazy.
I know. Azriel is like literally defending your honor.
Like, just try it out.
Maybe just give him a little, well, something.
And then I want Mama Autumn to at least visit Night Court to see Lucian.
We learn more later. She went to the Night Court, all right. And 46, Feyre uses... Oh, you still have more? Jesus Christ. How many notes? It was a quick chapter.
You know I have a lot of thoughts.
I like to call those opinions.
I do have a lot of opinions. And then I said, oh no, not her powers.
Tight, lock it up, woman. Feyre uses all the powers at her disposal to break through the wards and attack Beiron, showing affinity for all of the courts, and rage releases. Helion is the only one to say something about how he noticed a piece was missing. Nesta pleads her case on why the humans below the wall need protecting, the cost of not standing and fighting against Hybern. All High Lords, save for Beiron, believe that there is nothing to be done about Feyre having a kernel of their power. The meeting is adjourned till more can be learned and ironed out about the war plans. My note is, look at Tarquin. You saved us from under the mountain. Losing a kernel of power seems worth a worthy payment. And I'm like, yes, finally seeing eye to eye.
Okay. I have 3 notes.
Just 3? Just kidding.
She just had to show all of her powers.
All of them.
And then, okay, Nesta's a little better. I'm glad Tarquin is a friend now.
Yes, that was a good full circle moment, I feel like. And hopefully we'll just improve with time.
Yeah.
In chapter 47, we learn more of the closeness and companionship between the Night and the Dawn Court when Helion shows up and starts making jokes with everybody.
Yep.
We know more about where the forces of Helion, where Helion's forces are located, and the ideas of where the other lords may land according to the battlefield. Feyre pieces together more of the narrative surrounding the Autumn Court. That big shocker is that Helion is Lucian's father.
Yeah.
I told you, Mama Autumn went there and got that Night Court.
I literally...
At first, I didn't get it because there's a line...
See, I did. When
Not me.
When she...
There's a line, but there's a part where, like, Rysand says something, like, through the bond, he's like, whatever you've just recently figured out, wipe it off your face. And I was like, What did she figure out?
No, I did. I was like, oh, because I forget what it was right before.
Why do I feel like this is something telling about our friendship, whereas the riddle in the first book came to me instantly.
What chapter is this? Because I want to know. I want to remember what it is.
And this is chapter 47.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I can't hold it. Was that towards the end?
Yes, because you're coming up on where right here is when Rhysand says, whatever you just figured out.
Oh, yeah. It was because their like affair was like the same time.
Yeah. I mean.
And then she got pregnant.
I didn't piece together the timing of it, but.
Because she said, but if it had ended centuries ago and she'd never seen him again, had let Baron treat her so I can't say that word right now.
Abominably. I thought that was just implying that they were still having the affair. I didn't put the two pieces together.
No, because they hadn't seen each other in centuries. So it was like, oh. And like that's why they were so mean to him, because it was only the half brother.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my only note is really shallow. It just says, "Oh, okay, a bisexual Hellion can really get it." He sounds hot as fuck.
This was 47.
Yeah.
I said, I love Vivian, whatever we're doing. And then I said, maybe we will get a threesome.
Listen, if there's two guys that are going at it in some capacity, I'm for it. Like, I'll watch. I will at least watch. Oh, man. Just one threesome. That's all I'm asking for. Chapter 48, I don't have any notes for the next two chapters because they were both like only a matter of pages. In 48, the war table is reconvened only to be interrupted by Nesta being attacked. As a shock is felt across the world, Rhysand confirms the king has used the cauldron to take down the wall.
Yeah.
I thought that I had mentioned that Nesta is shaken up by something, some unnameable force is what I had in the last one. When all is well, the conversation of how the previous meeting went keeps Feyre and Rhysand up. But we're now at the point when Nesta realizes that that the wall is down.
Okay.
Do you have anything for that?
No,
it's like 3.
I didn't have.
Okay, that's only like 3 pages long anyway. Chapter 49, as the team learns of the deeper connection between Nesta and the cauldron, they reconvene at the townhouse to come up with a plan. It's Elaine who suggests going to her fiancé's home to see if they would be willing to protect the humans who can make it to them, and Feyre learns that Amren knows what the creature in the library is. This is like when Harry Potter shows up through the portrait after and like confronts Snape in the last movie. These chapters I feel like are that kind of squirrely energy.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, oh God, we got to move, we got to go, we got to do things. Like that's what and I think I wonder if almost that's intentionally why she's written the chapters so short, is to kind of make it feel like you're moving quick.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that would make sense because this whole portion of the book feels like it's moving at a very, very rapid pace.
Yeah.
In chapter, do you have anything to say about 48?
I don't have any more notes.
I know, but you're here right now and you have a mind, so I didn't know if you had any thoughts about it. This is just the chapter where we find out that Nesta is more connected to the cauldron, and they make the decision to go to... this is when they're in the townhouse right before they leave to go to the human world.
Okay.
And then in chapter 49, the team... No, sorry. So Feyre learns that Amren knows what the creature is in the library. So then chapter 50 is when Amren and Feyre make their way to the bottom of the library. If the carver isn't going to help, then she will use the monster instead. A bargain is added to the existing one she already has with Bryaxis, a window for its aid in battle.
I love all that these creatures want to like stay
where they are.
They're like, I don't really care
don't
for the
need to run.
outside.
Yeah.
I just want to see outside. I want to breathe. I want to see birds. I want to
Hashtag
see the
same.
stars.
Like, I don't want to go out there. It's not that great out there.
I love being home.
Just give me a window. The only note I had for this is I'm so glad that I said in episode 11 and it's coming true, because I had said in episode 11, I was like, why the carver? I would go for the thing that's underneath the library. And I said, look at me having a little bit of Elaine's power. In chapter 51, we start the chapter preparing for the Illyrian army to move. Once the plan has been made, it's time to head beyond the wall to ask for aid. Again, these are when the chapters start to get really, really short. So
Yep.
in chapter 52, Elaine is reunited with Grayson and introduced to his father. While Elaine begins to beg for the safety of the remaining humans below the wall and explains all that has happened with the invading forces and the breaking of the wall, Nolan interrupts, explaining that he already knows all of this and that he knows about what happened to Elaine and how she's no longer human because Jurian is right there.
I felt my heart for Elaine.
I know, I felt so bad. And I mean, when you're raised on such high prejudice, though, I guess it's something that's not as easily broken. In chapter 53, Jurian explains how he's been against Hybern since the beginning and is willing to fight to protect the humans, that he's played his part as well as Rhysand did in the Court of Nightmares. Do we believe that Jurian is good? Like, I feel like this...
I don't know, because he opened his mind, but like, I don't know if it's a trick. I don't know. Because
of the power of like the spell books that the king has, and because of the power of the cauldron, there's parts of me that are like, is this just a puppet show?
Yeah.
Like, are you just a vessel that the king is actually projecting himself into and acting out? You know what I mean? Like, it's fantasy, for crying out loud. Anything can happen.
That's very true.
In chapter 54, Jorian gives intel on both the King of Hybern, how Tamlin sold them out yet again, and how the queens on the mainland are involved, and where to find the first attacking army. Grayson ends the engagement with Elaine in such a vicious way that Nesta smacks him into his place, which that was chef's kiss. In chapter 55, Elaine begins her healing journey after losing the last tie that she had to the human world outside her father, and Rhysand and Feyre prepare for the next battle.
Where the fuck is
Tale
the father?
as old as time. Where is Dad? Dad beware. Like, where is this man? Where does anybody have anyone got eyes on him? Like, do we even know his name?
I don't know.
Like, chaos. Man.
I mean, I feel like we would have to have learned his name.
Bitch is never in the books. We don't know. In chapter 56, Jurian's intel proves to be right, and the Night Court and its allies confront the Hybern forces at the border between the Summer and the Spring Courts. The element of surprise gives them the advantage. The first battle ends with Tarquin drowning captives on dry land, which was really fucking cool. Nesta patches up an injured Cassian, furthering the bond that's beginning to form there. Nesta, Mor, and Feyre work into the night helping with the wounded. Feyre confronts her feelings about the difference between defending and surprise attacks and planned war. We learn of a threat making its way up the border between spring and summer, and the team comes up with the glamour to help in the coming battle.
Mm-hmm.
In her desperation to aid in the fight, Feyre decides to hunt down the Surreal to find out where Hybern's true army lies. And chapter 57 is extremely short. It's basically just when Feyre convinces Morrigan to join the battle as she hunts the Surreal. She enlists the gifts from Elaine to help her track it quicker, and we are left on a cliffhanger of her being confronted by it. So that is where we are right now. And a lot happened in those chapters, but most of it was just like reenacting war crimes. So I was just like, a war is happening. What do you think happened? But they had the camps in like a gully kind of thing, but looking over. And it was Feyre, Nesta, and more watching from above as the attack started and went on.
I feel like calling the surreal like so many times stresses
There's got to
me
be
out.
something. Everything has its price, so I'm curious as to what the
Yeah.
price is there.
Because like she just keeps doing it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's kind of, I feel like taking advantage.
He's not Ask Jeeves. He's not Chat GPT. He is not Google.
Yeah.
I'm interested, especially because it seems to be the same one that she continuously catches.
Well, they're all the same.
They're a part of a collective, like they share a mind. I thought they were just like there's individual ones.
No, I think they.
Well, they are all
are a
knowing, so I guess that
collective.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be? Just weird. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if all the creatures like the surreal and the one that was in the that we don't know how to say, the boogie or biggie or whatever one, the bogey,
yeah.
whatever it's called, the bog. We don't whatever it's called.
Oh yeah. Or like the Naga.
Well, I'm talking about the thing that Feyre sent. Yeah. I feel like what if all of those are connected to like the older ancient beings, like the Weaver and the Bone Carver and the other one? Like, what if they're all connected in like lesser parts of itself? Because that's how it works in Queen of the Damned, y'all. Akasha is infected with a demon that only satiates itself on blood. And as you bite someone, pieces of the demon go in you, but it's like diluted. And I wonder if that's kind of similar in that sense. But I just went on a tangent, so I apologize.
No, I'm always on going on tangents, I feel like.
I don't know, like, what she's... I mean, I feel like the surreal is just going to give her... What if the surreal is underneath Hybern's command?
Yeah, there's like so many... I just don't know. I'm nervous.
It's too many unknowns. I don't like any of it. And I don't like that she had to go... Like, the confrontation that she had in the human world and, like, how much of that was at risk to do that was a lot for me, too.
Yeah.
But... Yeah. Any predictions? What are your thoughts?
I don't... Predictions. I don't know. I kind of feel like I side with Duran.
I feel like Jerian's a safe bet, but at the same time, I do fear, because we still have that looming prophecy that Elaine made about Cassian.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah. And I'm wondering what's going to happen there, and if, like, how soon it's going to happen. Like, when are we going to hear about it? Because could you imagine it happens while she's not there?
I feel like it's...
Because then that means that neither Nesta nor Moore would have anybody, like, holding them back.
Yeah, but we know that they have their book.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm just imagining how Feyre would feel if Cassian died while she was away, what that would mean to her sister and her best friend, and then what would happen just in general.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I guess we shall see. So we are just going to finish the book because there's not that much left of it. So we're starting from chapter 58 until the remainder of the book, which goes up to... chapter 82.
Whoop, whoop.
So, yeah.
Don't look at it.
No, I was doing math in my head. I was like, because it's just, so we did 20 chapters the last time. So this time is just going to be 22 chapters.
Perfect.
So, yeah. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what you thought, and we'll see you next week. BK Book Cup signing out.
Whoop.